That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gym Crashers with Dondo, Adam Roods,
Hey, what the fuck?
and Coach Roybal.
Yo, what's going on, party people? Another Tuesday night with the Gym Crashers, and we have an illustrious guest, Coach Dale Roybal of many things, of legends, of CSW, Combat Submission Wrestling. Like, what is up with you, my friend?
Fresh off the Contender Series.
Yeah.
That too.
It's a fact.
First of all, thank you. I'm honored to be here with you guys. Can watch your show a lot and see you everywhere. This guy right here has been nothing but support and love from the beginning. You know.
Was that back at the first Celtic Gladiator?
This is like...
Is that right? Because that
I mean,
seems to be...
Jacob fighting on a beach port in Long Beach? Something like that?
Something like that. It's been a while.
Scaring the ever-living shit out of me with It-inspired tights and everything. Like, so Jacob, he scared the shit out of me.
He loves his serial killers. That's
Jacob the Badger... Is it Little Badger?
Little
Badger
Badger
Rosales.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They're saying words like everybody knows what they're talking about. We got to introduce.
Right.
Yeah. So, dude, how are you?
I am great, man. I'm great. And like I said, happy to be here and, happy to be doing what I'm doing in boxing and, believe it or not, MMA. And, somewhere I never thought I would be, to be honest with you.
Really?
I'm not going to lie. When it came to MMA in the very beginning, I was, the typical boxing coach where
Sure.
MMA, what's the big deal,
Right.
And, probably going to catch some slack from people out there. But, I mean, that's for a long time, there was that big divide. And
you don't know until someone takes you down. You're like, my boxing, all of a sudden.
For me, it wasn't until I started working with the MMA guys and I really started to appreciate what they do and how they do it and their work ethic. Not only that, they're super respectful. They most of them come from that martial arts background where it's yes sir, no sir,
bowing.
Very respectful. It's a whole kind of different breed of person. And believe it or not, I probably watch more MMA fights than I do boxing these days. Which isn't saying much because I really don't watch much fighting at all because I do it so much. I'm in the gym, I just want to go home and just relax type of thing, Yeah, so.
The amazing thing is, Coach Roybal, I want to say Coach Roybal is here with us. He actually trains at Legends Boxing. I know he trains at other places. I'm not too privy. We're going to ask him questions about that, but we're there. The Gym Crashers are there. We're 12,000 Firestone Boulevard in Norwalk, as he is there as well with other fighters. So this is a really cool thing to get together. Adam has history with him because of the fight promotions that they've worked together.
Yeah, man.
Little Badger's been out there fighting, and his coach is there behind him. So we're putting all this together. We got a lot to talk about. So that's kind of where we're coming from. So it's an awesome place. And the first time I've actually been with both of these guys in one room, even though I see Dale almost every other day because I go over there, and then I see Adam at least that often every other day, and I don't see him. So it's cool. It's awesome. And gosh, let's delve into the boxing before we get into the MMA part of it because that's where his history is.
Absolutely. So I'll start it off. So how did you get, interested in fight sports? Were you a boxing fan as a kid? Like, how did that come to be?
Well, I'm 42 years old. I'm sure, we're...
Not a day over 27.
Not a day over 20. Well, thank you. I hated it as a kid, but as I'm older, I'm appreciating, that I look a little younger.
You do.
But,
Baby
all of
face.
us, we're all about that age, but we grew up on Kung Fu theater. We grew up on, WWE.
Yes.
We grew up, the Saturday morning cartoons with the WWE, Junkyard Dog, Ricky Steamboat. All that stuff, and I'm not going to lie, as a kid, I grew up on it, and, we were doing our little moves on our cousins and stuff in the living room after watching Kung Fu theater or, whatever the case might be. right. So, we all, come for that. So, that had always been there. But as far as the boxing, and as far on my dad's side of the family, the Roybal side of the family, there was always a pair of boxing gloves in the garage, and when my dad and his friends would get to drinking and arguing, they settled their differences with, hey, put on the gloves. Put on the gloves. They'd put on the gloves. They'd handle their business. They'd shake hands, and they'd get back to whatever it was they were doing. Problem solved. kind of, I guess, old school in a way.
I love it.
But, my dad was a big fight fan. We had an uncle who was boxing champion, like featherweight champion in San Quentin prison.
Whoa.
Even though it's not, the major thing. To us, it was a big deal. Hey, my
me,
uncle
that's a big
was
deal.
the San Quentin boxing champion. So, we had a little bit of some kind of pride there with that.
Yeah, the baddest of the badasses. Right?
I guess, but
Well, there's not a tougher bunch of folks than the guys that are in there
they
because
got nothing to lose.
well, nothing to lose, and also they're just pumping all day long, right? So they're swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
I won't knock their
Almost.
technical expertise. They don't have you in there to clean that up.
right.
So I realize they're swinging for the fences, but man,
They
might bite your ear off too.
Yeah, you never
Like some
know,
other
right?
boxer I
You
know.
never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And, in prison, like I said, they got nothing to lose. So if they kill you, big deal, right? I mean,
That's the other thing.
know,
If somebody lost money on you, might shank you in the yard. Who knows, right?
100%. I
Right.
mean, that's a truth teller right there.
So with that, with that being said, there was always an interest. And then when I was about 15-ish, somewhere in there, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not an angel, I grew up,
That's how we were homies.
right? We are
Right.
homies, definitely.
Right.
But I grew up, from the streets and whatnot, and at one point in time I was in a little trouble where it came down to where I was gonna have to, face somebody over something. It was kind of prearranged, and I turned to one of my uncles. I was like, hey, I got this coming out.
I gotta shank him, or you gonna show
will
me?
you show me how to box? This is a different uncle. That's but he was like, well, you show me. He's like, well, yeah, I used to box. Let me show you. So he started showing me some stuff, whatever. The little event had passed, or whatever, whatnot. But I continued to kind of soak up whatever they would teach me. And then I have another uncle who actually used to box. He's from down in Watts, and my uncle Martin. And he started, he put up a speed bag in the garage, and,
Cool.
and I was actually obsessed with that speed bag. He started, showing me, how to hit it. So I'd come there day in, day out, hit the speed bag. My knuckles, you miss that speed bag and rips the skin off, right?
Yeah, man.
So still come back, hit it, rest, let it
Timing.
come back in, rip the scabs off again, and hit it. And I'd jump rope and, stupid stuff like that.
Dude,
But
that's the
I-
foundation.
Well,
right? Come on, that's
well,
not stupid
like I
stuff.
said, if you would have asked me back then, do you box? I'd say, yeah, I'm boxing. But now that I've been involved in the sport and training actual fighters, it was nowhere near boxing. You know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
But as time continued, when, like for me to work out, I wasn't going to go and pump all kinds of iron and this and that. I liked the boxing workout. I liked the jump rope. I liked the
Sure.
speed bag. I liked even hitting, the other bag.
Yeah, you hold mitts in such a way, it's like a dance. I'm like, man, it's got to mix it into an art form.
Thank you.
I want to go hit hands with you. I'm going to
All
get
right,
over there.
come
You
see
know?
me. Come see me.
I ain't got no money, but I'll be
All
there.
right, don't trip, don't trip. I got you, right? So, fast forward, I always had a bag hanging in the garage. I always had a bag hanging in the garage. And then I had my younger son was going to elementary school, and believe it or not, he was getting bullied. And it was to the point where he didn't want to go to school. My wife's like,
that's tough.
he don't even want to go to school, and he's a little kid. I had my older son. He was in high school, and he got in a little bit of trouble, at the high school. So my wife's like, look, you need to do something with the boys. You need to teach them, how to fight,
Right.
this and that.
Set it
But
straight.
either that, or we're gonna go down to the school and we're gonna get in trouble,
Wow.
because it comes to our kids. You don't play around.
No,
you know what
not
I
at
mean?
all.
Then
I agree 100%.
right. Sad to say it, but if the school's not gonna do something, somebody needs to. But so long story short is okay. I started taking the kids to the garage and started showing them what I knew at the time. And then they started to like it, and they started doing it. So I looked through the yellow pages, and lo and behold, there's a boxing club right down the street,
Love
which was
that.
the La Habra Boxing Club.
Wow.
And La Habra Boxing Club is where I got my start. That is my home in my heart, and will always be a special place to me.
That's dope.
I have I actually made a meme a long time ago, and if you look on my page, you'll see it somewhere. But it says, because La Habra Boxing Club, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's an old church building.
Really?
It was the old Our Lady of Guadalupe Church in the city of La Habra, and so when they moved on to a bigger building, the city had that building, had to put use to it, so the Habra Boxing Club was founded in that building.
That's cool.
So I used to say boxing was our religion.
Yeah.
And every day inside those walls is where we came to practice it, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, and it was true. You know, we kind of became obsessed with it. You know, my boys started doing good in the sport. In the beginning, you know, but in all honesty, I never, ever, ever set out to be a coach. It kind of just happened. I didn't want to do it. You know what I mean?
Like fatherhood, though.
Well, you know, I
helping
look, I grew up without my dad around. You know, I mean, he was there
tough.
up to a certain point, and then he was gone.
Yeah.
So when I had my kids, I swore that's not going to be the case.
Yeah.
But I also made the mistake of thinking that just because I was in the house, that made me a good father.
Right.
When, you know, when I finally got into the boxing, it really brought us closer together, and I really got to spend quality time with my boys. So more than anything, it was quality time with my boys.
Wow.
It was, you know, helping my kid, you know, learn to just have confidence in himself and not be afraid to go to school because of being bullied, right? And so, you know, we took it from there. You know, Dave Martinez, who runs the La Habra Boxing Club, he's a world famous cut man. He's worked with
We all know
everybody.
Him, dude. Love the guy.
Everybody. Dave Martinez is a phenomenal cut man, phenomenal trainer.
He's nationally known and famous.
He's, you know,
People know
cut,
him, man.
yeah, he's cut man from Miguel Cotto. He did, you know, at the time he did the Pacquiao fight, the one before this one. He's worked with everybody. You know, he's really a great dude. He kind of took us under his wing. And in the beginning, like I said, they had a kids class, and that's how we started, with the kids class. And the kids started doing all right. And we would go home, we'd work on stuff, we'd go back to the class, and they
cool.
started learning faster and faster. To where finally, you know, I had a couple other people, you know, help me with my kids. And so one day the kids were like, Dad, you just do it. You know, we enjoy it. You do it. We do most of the work together anyways. And so it started like that. I started working with my kids. And then next thing you know, other people started asking me. And, you know.
Because you're smooth. I see what you do. No, really. If somebody holds mitts for you,
Right.
and their timing's off, I mean, come on. You're throwing your shoulder out. All kind of weird
All
stuff is
kinds of
happening, right?
Definitely.
Somebody's right there with you in the timing and the rhythm and the footwork, and they're really bringing out the best in you. I mean, that's a great feeling.
Absolutely.
That is better than running a mile, you know, in under whatever time you're trying to do it in. Because I'm here with my coach. We're bobbing, we're weaving. They even smack me in the face a couple times to get my hands back up.
Right.
Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. But that's kind of, for a lack of a better way to put it, being in the zone for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When I roll really hard with someone, but we got answers for each other, and we're dead, and we did nothing
Catch and
but
release,
roll.
yeah.
It's I love that. It pushes you up another level. So
Right, absolutely.
I see Coach Roybal at the gym, and he's working with young folks. I mean, some of them are half his size, but I can see the power he brings out of them. And I'm like, I don't even know if I could hit that hard. But he brings that out of them because I can see the hip movement. I can see the full extension of the arms. They whip it, and I'm like, woo!
It's
Fire!
takes a lot of practice. I mean, you know, and at the end of the day, it's all their hard work. You know, I mean, you know, being a coach is you're basically a guide. Is the way I would put it. You know, all I can't, if you don't have talent, I can't give it to you. I'm sorry, this is the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
If you don't have any talent, I can't give it to you. All I can do is help you find what you have, help you develop it, and help you be the best that you can be. Now, you know, in the beginning, I used to think everybody can be a champion, everything this and that, because, you know, that's, you know, kind of
The
what you got.
mentality.
You know, you got to kind of think that way. Hey, everybody has a chance, and that's really is the truth. Everybody does have a chance, but also some people have limitations. Not everybody is going to be a champion. Some guys will only go so far, and some guys have the potential to go really far, and then sometimes you have guys that you never thought would make it, but they work hard. They work their ass off, and next thing you know, they're up there, and they really come out of nowhere and surprise you that, hey, this guy, everybody counted him out, but he, you know, turned out to be the one. And at the end of the day, it's hard work, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm blessed currently to be around a great coach like Manny Robles,
Right.
who you know just had that major success with Ruiz, and
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
he's the head
Right.
coach at Legends Boxing.
It's
And
the biggest thing we're talking about in our
in your circle,
LA,
right?
In the 50, 60 miles that we live in of LA,
Everybody's talking
Orange
about that,
County.
right?
I mean, Andy Ruiz.
You're
Come on.
right.
He made the dad bod the coolest thing around. Now I walk around the swap meet with my shirt off.
Right.
Do you really?
Yeah, real quick. We got Carlos Ramirez saying, "What's up? Big shout out, Jay
What's up,
Martinez,
Carlos?
aka Forever Young."
Forever young.
right.
Hashtag.
Carlos Ramirez, we love having you on the show.
Even
buddy.
I can't pronounce his last name. First name is Pat. Says Team Royale.
Roybal. Yes,
Roybal.
sir. How you doing, Pat? Good to see you.
It's okay, Joey can't read.
The last name is hard to pronounce.
It's
okay.
all good.
It's okay.
It's all good.
You're fluent in Spanish.
All
10
right.
points.
I'm not.
He's fluent in
10 points.
tacos.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
So back to what I was saying is, you know, I mean, a great coach like that, I mean, he'll tell you straight up, is there's no secret recipe. The only real thing there is hard work.
Yeah.
Hard work. And that's the truth of the matter. If you're willing to put in the hard work, you're going to get results, you know? I mean, you lift weights every day, you're going to get stronger, right? If you commit yourself to something and you practice it every day, you're going to get better. Now, some people are better at bringing things out in people than others.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then some people,
You're very humble, because I actually I visually see something better going on. I love that you don't necessarily boast about that. That's fine, but you got to talent yourself, and to have a good coach is a blessing.
Well, thank you. And, at the end of the day, there's a lot of things in my youth that, I had done or had went through that I didn't, at the time, was like, why am I going through this stuff or this and that? And now that I've become a coach, I kind of see where I can put all these experiences into use. And then just other things, like when I was younger, I mean, it sounds kind of funny, but my stepdad took me to Anthony Robbins, Tony Robbins, right, Shallow Hal, everything, right?
That's
Anthony
a big deal, dude.
Okay, no, he took me.
Paid big money.
They
for
paid
that.
big money for that. But at the time I was a kid, I was like 13 years old, didn't appreciate it. And so he takes me to the seminar, and I go to the seminar. I'm a 13-year-old kid or whatever, and I'm watching it or whatever. And at the end of the night, you walk over 10 feet of hot coals. Right, just to show you that mind over matter, you can do anything, right?
Yep.
So that was part of it, and that was actually a big experience for me to show that if you put your mind to something, you can do it. But the rest of the seminar kind of goes on to something called like NLP, like neuro-linguistic programming. If you ever have a chance to look that up, you can. But it's basically they get into how people are wired and how people learn and how to build rapport and how to get through to people when you're trying to speak to somebody.
Sure.
And believe it or not, that has really helped me in this, because in that I learned that people learn one of three different ways. They're either visual, audio, or kinesthetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Visual people have to see it.
Right.
Audio people have to hear it, and kinesthetic people have to feel it.
Mm.
So I've always tried, and maybe I've actually did it without even realizing until one day I kind of thought about it. When I try to get through to people, okay, I'm going to explain it to you, then I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to have you do it. So one way or another, you're going to learn.
Right, exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people that maybe someone has told them something, but it wasn't in a way that they can receive it,
Yeah.
so they don't feel like they're learning, And believe it or not, as crazy as it sounds, I feel like that's actually been a big part of the success I've had with getting through to people and helping them learn what it is I'm trying to teach them.
Right.
Call me silly. I don't know.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that, and Anthony Robbins, that has, been at the forefront of people in business, athletes,
Absolutely.
entertainers of all sorts, actors, you
Right.
name it. So when you tell me that as a 13-year-old young man about to step up to being a man, learn something that he could put into life, I absolutely believe that. And the fact that you recognized it at that age.
Well, I kind of, sort of.
Okay.
But, I kind of took it for granted. So don't get me wrong. You would think from that point on I was on my way, right?
Right.
But no,
You would
you would think.
Right,
But as
exactly.
being the dumb kid and everything else, I went a different route, bro. I got into trouble. I was going, in and out of juvenile hall for a minute.
They make it easy to get in and out of there. So
Right. I
it
mean,
might not be
they
your
do.
fault.
They made it too easy. But I
Right.
mean, at one point in time, I went in there one time, and I got in. Something happened in there, and they moved me to a unit where it was nothing but murderers. Where everybody there was going to state prison after they turned 18.
Straight to Chino.
Right.
Wow.
And I had moved to Fullerton for a minute. I went to Sunny Hills High School. I don't know if you're familiar with Sunny
went
Hills
to
High
Sunny
School.
Hills
I went to
High
Sunny Hills
School.
High School for
Crazy.
like
4 months.
for like one semester. Yeah, I was in and I was out, right? But there was something took place there during the time I was there, and it was called the honor roll murders. I don't know if you guys hear about that.
What is that?
Honor roll murders were these kids that they all had like scholarships to big Ivy League schools. They were like 4 Asians and 1 Mexican kid, right? And they were doing some kind of crimes, whatever.
They call that rice and beans.
Rice and beans, I guess, right? And they ended up killing a kid by the name of Stuart Tay.
Oh, yes.
And they
For
buried
real?
and
There was a deadline on it.
and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
buried him in their backyard in
Yeah.
Buena Park. and
You
they buried
gotta
him
be
in the
shitting me.
backyard in Buena Park.
And they blew their
And
scholarships.
it blew their scholar. They all got arrested. They all busted.
So they weren't as smart as they thought they were.
So I knew a couple of these guys, and when I went to Sunny Hills, and the Mexican kid whose backyard he was buried on, his name was Abraham Acosta or something like that.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, Abraham Acosta, right?
Yeah.
I go into this unit and he's there, and I knew him from school already. So I start talking to him, Abraham, hey, this, that, whatever, right? And he's telling me kind of crazy stories, whatever, whatnot.
You didn't call him a tater tot, did you?
No. So at the end of the day,
Token Town tater tots.
at the end of the day, some shit happened where wherever I ended up getting out. Okay, I get out, I go home, do my thing, and I got in trouble again, like a dummy, right? I come back, and I would never forget this. I'm walking down the hallway, going to a different unit, and I happen to pass the hall of that unit, and I look to my right, and I see them walking, to do their little thing, and Abraham sees me, and he looks at me, and I'm like, hey, and he looks at me, and he just shook his head like
You don't know.
like this dummy.
Yeah.
You don't know me, fool.
I might never get out, but this dummy right here is coming back like it's the thing to do. And like there, it kind of hit me like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I was that kid. I was rebellious, and nobody's gonna tell me what to do until you go in there. That's all they do is tell you what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
It's even worse.
You know what I mean? So
The food sucks.
everything sucks in there, and it's not the place I wanted to be. And I mean, that's that kind of steered me in a different direction, or not necessarily because I wasn't innocent. I just wasn't getting in trouble no more.
Right.
I didn't no matter what. I wasn't getting in trouble no more.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I
You
mean?
mean you weren't
And-
getting caught?
yeah, I wasn't getting caught. That's what it is.
Well, that's what it
I
comes
think
down
the
to.
statute of limitations is off by now.
It's off by now,
So-
right? I mean,
Depending on what we're talking about.
right? Yeah, depending on what we're talking about. But no, I mean, so yeah, with all that and
That's heavy, man, and it's honest. So I appreciate everything you say because we all have some of that.
Right.
Some of
Right.
us more than others, and I'm
Right.
not going to plead innocent to anything. I did
Right.
what I had to
but,
do.
But it helps me in this coaching thing because a lot of these kids are coming from that and they're
Right.
looking for a direction. You
And
know
they're
what I
in
mean?
it. They're like
They're
dead
in it or they're on the verge of getting in it, and like I can tell them from my experiences, look, bro, this is what's up. And a lot of these kids sometimes they're hard headed. They're gonna learn on their own, and then some of them, they're
won't learn,
receptive.
yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day. Out of nowhere on my birthday, I got a text from a kid that I used to train who, unfortunately his father was murdered when he was a child. Never really knew him, whatever, whatnot. Mom brought him to
Heavy.
me. His mom brought him to me, can you help my son with boxing, whatever, whatnot. And, I remember me growing up without my father. And whenever someone was nice to me, it meant the world to me. To them, they probably didn't even realize it,
Right,
right? But to
absolutely.
me, it was the world, and I never forgot those people.
Yeah.
They've always stuck out in my mind and in my heart. And so, a little extra effort, I tried to help this kid and, this and that. And, out of nowhere, I get a message from him like, hey, thank you. Everything that you told me was what I needed. I don't get in no trouble no more. I'm this and that. And, and for me, at the end of the day, bro, for some of the things that I've been through, been involved in, so on and so forth, if that, have someone, like that can, I don't want to say take away from my sins, but at least, I'm not taking from the world, I'm giving back to the
Right.
world, and at the end of the day, I mean,
That's cool.
that's what martial arts is about.
Yes,
It's,
yeah, absolutely.
making the world better, making yourself better, to make others better. And I say martial arts because boxing is a martial art.
Absolutely.
Boxing is a
100%.
martial
I'm glad
art.
you said
It
that.
doesn't get the credit that it deserves because it's a Western art, right? If it was ancient Asian boxing or
Right.
ancient China boxing, then people would be like, "Oh shit, this is the shit."
Right, absolutely.
But
It-
everyone
it
takes,
is the shit.
it-
There would be no mixed martial arts without the art of boxing. It's one of the main components.
Very true.
They don't come out and not stand and bang.
Right,
You
absolutely.
know what I mean? It's a gimme.
And one of the early adapters, in terms of being the, like the quintessential template of what a modern mixed martial artist should be, is Frank Shamrock. And he learned very early on, and he had some of the same background, in and out of, jail and, criminal stuff, and he got adopted into the Shamrock family. But he was one who was like, yes, I need grappling. Yes, I need legit boxing, striking.
At his time too, to understand how to put that all together.
All together,
was still a
absolutely.
mystery. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you're a boxer, like, why do I need that? Or if you're a jiu-jitsu guy, why do I need to throw hands?
Right,
I'm gonna come
exactly.
with a clinch, so-
Right.
But
And
a
also-
few of those guys knew, and,
Right.
Frank Shamrock, but
also Bruce Lee, right?
Roy-
well,
Bruce Lee
was
Bruce
an
Lee-
early,
absolutely.
early
Be
person
considered
in
probably
the
one of the
list.
first,
Yeah.
mixed
I
martial
agree.
arts.
Marco Huas as I understand it, the King of the Streets was probably one of the first to put it all together.
Okay.
Really, that's how I hear it and understand it.
Right.
But
But back to Bruce Lee, who actually CSW chases their lineage to through Bruce Lee Dan Inosanto.
Dan
Inosanto's there, yes.
Guru.
They call him Guru.
Dan. That's what they call
right.
him, Guru Dan. I've never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I know he's a big part of the founding. Through that with with Eric Paulson,
absolutely,
that's a
regards
big
him.
deal.
He's
He
highly,
just had a
highly
birthday.
revered by Eric Paulson.
Yes.
You know.
Guru Dan just had a birthday, probably July.
Okay.
Around the block, but happy birthday
Right.
to Guru Dan. Happy birthday to Coach Roybal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Celebrating.
But Bruce Lee was all about, and I tell people this all the time, and they're kind of either look at me like, oh, or they look at me like, man, you're crazy. And it's Bruce Lee was all about taking away and not adding to, right?
Right.
And I say, well, maybe, just maybe, boxing is everything stripped away to the bare necessities of what you need.
But he learned to box. I mean, Bruce Lee understood that fixed positions didn't work, and that the movement of a boxer, the footwork involved,
Like water.
and he mixed that in.
Very true. Very
so
true.
that's a huge thing.
Real quick, got
Tell
a
us,
couple
Joe.
of comments out there. Carlos Ramirez is asking, is Dale Mexican?
Yes, I am Mexican and Native American Indian.
Okay.
You should
You
see his
know.
totem pole.
And then Pat says, keep grinding, Dale. Proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
And then once
Thank
again,
you.
I want to give a big shout out to all 7
All 7.
Massage Matters.
Yes, it does. Look right there.
Cauliflower Nation.
Cauliflower.
Word of Mouth, MMA Inc., and Our Life CBD. Do we have any samples we can show
Right.
people?
We got some samples. He's going to huck it at us any second. It's in
John
the
is
drawer.
catching
It's
it
in
today.
the drawer on your left. In the drawer on your left.
John's catching it today.
Here we go.
There you go. There you go. Fucker.
Our Life
Yes,
CBD.
I caught it this time.
I knew it was
this
going
stuff
your
is
way.
great. My wife was actually having some lower back pain.
How did she
last
get that,
week.
Adam?
What?
I
How
need
did
to
she get the
my-
lower back pain,
Oh,
Adam?
from Sean Lorma of Our Life. I'm just saying. Yeah.
That's not how it happened.
Yeah. He makes house calls, people. I mean,
What happens in Inglewood stays in Inglewood.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in Glendale now.
Oh,
Come on.
Glendale.
Come
I'm
on.
sorry. He's out by
Pinky's up.
Portos.
No, but this stuff is great.
love
my
it.
wife used it,
I love
and
it.
she's just like, "Oh my gosh, I can move things." So I tried that out last night. So 10 points there.
On her
anyway,
back. Baby got back.
no, but that's
Mrs. Spicy, that is.
Oh, jeez.
That is her name. Mrs. Spicy Adam Woods.
That's
Right?
right.
Yes,
I love
yes,
Mrs. Spicy.
yeah, absolutely,
Me and
absolutely.
Mrs. Spicy had drinks the other night at Barcelona. It's all good.
Yeah, man.
Well, this guy was the social butterfly of the evening.
Was I really?
I threw up in the bushes and
There you
fell on
go.
my face. So
There you go. Dondo does what Dondo wants to do because
It
that
just
makes him
happens.
the happiest dodo on earth.
that's right.
There you go.
So if you threw up in the bush, what was her name?
Well, you know,
Nah.
Oh my gosh. Never mind.
sometimes, fellas.
Sometimes we've all
Better
been
not
there.
to smell it first.
Now, I kind of want to know. Obviously, it was your sons that kind of got you into training people. Are they still training?
My older son was phenomenally gifted. Every gym we went to, they were like, this kid, you know what I mean? But he hit that adolescence, those older teenage years, and I think the pressure of him not wanting to let people down,
Yeah.
kind of caused him to just run away from it,
Yeah.
and and it's funny because sometimes I have issues with him, whatever. I love my son to death. He's a great kid, beautiful kid, and he's out there figuring it out in life, and all I can hope is that the lessons planted,
Right.
those seeds that were planted will stick out when the time comes or whatever.
For sure.
But one thing is, in the fighting sports, it's a real microcosm for life, and the things that you do in the ring or in the cage are the things you're gonna do in life.
They're character
It is 100% the things you're gonna do in life. For him, when it got a little scary, his answer was to just not want to do it.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where hey, it's
Life is
if
scary,
you don't,
bro.
yeah, life is scary, but you have to learn to face your demons, and
Right.
and if you don't do it, you end up running for life.
It's funny you said that because we almost share the similar story. I came from a boxing background. I used to box myself.
Okay.
I trained a bunch of kids that were in the neighborhood that couldn't afford training for free.
Right.
My daughter, she was seriously into boxing. I had her used to spar against all the light, feather, whatever weights.
Right.
Until she got older, and I thought she was going to be the next big thing because she was knocking the wind out of fools.
He was,
Big time.
he was banking on it.
And honestly, and when she went to high school and of course things, boyfriends and all that stuff, it kind of sailed away. When she comes by, now she's already 24 years old.
Dang.
And we hang out once in a while.
Yeah, 24-year-old Joe? You only look like you're 24.
I put my hands up, and she still has it. It's just I wish she would have continued. 'Cause I think she would have been, like I said, like the next big thing for female boxing.
Right.
And it's
a beautiful story.
It's kind of a heartbreak a little bit, But
it is, and not just with my kids, but I mean, and my younger son still boxes, so I'm blessed there, and he's extremely talented. And I'm hoping that he'll stay on the path. But that's the difficult thing about training kids. First of all, is they got their whole future ahead of them. You invest all this time, and then you don't know. A girl gets a boyfriend, or this or that, or a guy, he finds, gangs, drugs, this, that. He's still got to make it through all his adolescence, and
it's tough.
It's tough, and that's why you get them young enough and discipline them young enough. It gets a little easier to make it through. That, and the other difficult part about training kids is the parents. You know what I mean? They make it extremely tough. I know they have the best intentions, and they want to be a part of this, and it's a very prideful thing. Look at my son. Look at that. I'm part of it.
Right.
But in actually, sometimes the best thing for them to do is let the people you get to around
absolutely.
you to do it. And I've seen. And I'm sure you have too. A lot of careers take a serious turn once the parent steps in and decides that they're the best man for the job.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, they've never put on a set of gloves. Or they've never been hit in the face, and yet they know everything.
They've watched a fight a lot of times.
I mean, that's always kind of and like I said, I get it. It's your kid. You want to be part of it.
Yeah.
But I tell parents all the time, look, your job is just as important, if not more important than mine. You got to keep them motivated. You got to make sure they're eating right. You got to, everything else that goes into that.
Everything that I'm disseminating at the gym, you got to make sure he follows.
What is disseminating?
All right. The spelling? I went with another big D word. Anyway, that's what I do.
And I understand what you're talking about. Like a lot of the kids that I used to train, I have to have the moms, cry to me and thanking my brother and I so much for helping these kids out.
Moms are easy. I like that.
It's crazy. And the fact that not a lot of these kids were, they were gangbangers.
I didn't mean that.
They were drug dealers.
You know what I mean?
And they became, a lot of them got scholarships because of us. A lot of them went to the military.
Look at Joe, dude.
Once in a while,
You're
you see him
humanitarian.
run into him. I hear, Coach. I turn around and I see the kid all grown up and he's all military or he's got a degree in something.
And
that makes you feel good.
Absolutely. More than because at the lower level when you're starting on, there's no money in there. There's no money in this shit, bro. You know what I mean? It's
even at the highest
exactly. It's a long, and not only that, it's like, they're not training champions in Beverly Hills, right? No. Right. Because people with talent don't have money. And people with money don't have talent. I mean, it's
exactly.
And I hate to say it that way, but it's kind of the truth of the matter, And
you gotta
because
keep to the streets.
there's a reason why certain races thrive in the fighting sports. Mexicans, blacks, so on and so forth. Whenever they get that great white hope, they get all excited, but it's very, very rare that happens, right?
Rare, yes.
Why? Because our races culturally have experienced nothing but suffering for generations and generations and disenfranchised. And we had to learn to be happy with those situations and thrive in that and have that, like, no matter what you do to me, I'm not going away. Right. I'm going to survive. I'm going to keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that carries on. It's in our DNA. You know what I mean? And so
it's well put. I really like that.
Getting back to
it's the truth.
It is the truth.
I'm used to getting hit.
right. Yeah. Mom beat the shit out of you with that sandal or whatever.
My mom hit my friends. If they weren't used to it, they got hit anyways.
Right. Right. So when you have a
kid,
especially in these days, that's why fighters are a little different these days. You know what I mean? Because we try to give our kids everything we didn't have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and when you give someone everything that they have, they don't have to work for shit. When they get in that ring and they start having, look, this is getting tough. Fuck this. I don't want to be in here. Well, you know what I mean?
A lot of these kids get so hooked on the whole social media, video games, and a lot of kids don't have that hard. Like you and I grew up, we worked hard. And we had the video games, but we knew when to put that shit down.
They cost a quarter, and I didn't have no quarters.
You know what I mean?
Super Mario Brothers.
And of course, I had one of the kids. He was a great white hope, but he was a great white hope that was born in Nevada.
No, yeah,
And he talked like the homeboys.
Don't get me wrong. There's some that they do it. Wasn't being trying to say it can't be done. You know what I mean? But it's got to really be someone that's been through some shit. You know what I mean?
Believe I know.
Been through some shit. You know.
And of course, like I said, you're blessed. I was blessed with the people sponsoring, giving us shirts, gloves. Like we couldn't afford it, but people saw what my brother and I were doing for the love of the sport. For free, but we always got donated a lot of gear.
And that's tremendous right there, because that's how life changed. I told you earlier, I'm part Native American, right? And we have a saying, it's Matakio Asen, which means we're all related.
Yeah.
Mean we're all related,
That's
bro.
deep.
What one man does affects the next man.
Right.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And so on and so forth, even in the smallest way. So by doing something like that, you change people's lives, and something that like I mentioned earlier too, that it didn't take extra effort on your part, but to that person it meant something, right?
Right. 100%.
So so I mean, I know I got to sidetrack talking about the kids.
No,
but,
this is
you
good,
know
dude.
what I mean?
No, but it's all relative.
It's
all
from your heart, and that's why we brought you on. So we
Thank
joke
you.
a little, but the serious matter is that you've affected lives, and it brings out a lot in Joe, our semi.
Speaking of Native, I'm Cherokee and Apache
There
too.
we
I don't
go.
believe you.
Right. Yes,
Is that
sir.
true?
Yeah, I'm true.
Yep.
My mom's side, they're Cherokee and some other Indian. And my dad's side, they were Apache and some other Spanish Indian, like from Mexico.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Those ones don't get casino money, so
no,
good luck to you.
unfortunately,
Oh,
we
hell.
don't get the casino money for that.
Oh,
right?
damn it.
Right.
Look at the trash.
So besides that, getting back to my younger son still boxes.
That's
and,
awesome.
He's doing phenomenal, and like I said, we have big hopes for him.
Damn,
That's cool.
That's awesome. So obviously, I mean, you started out at the La Habra Boxing Club, right?
Guadalajara.
Oof.
Guadalajara, that's real right there.
It must
You
be
know?
an OC thing. But
Actually, that's LA, fool.
yeah.
puto.
So then I mean, you transition into MMA, right?
Okay.
And you do that via the CSW.
Right.
We talked a little bit about Danny Nosanto and Eric Paulson,
Right.
but you come into the fold with Coach Ben Jones.
Yes.
Jacob Rosales, the little badger, but the OG badger, the badger,
Right.
Ben Jones.
They show up
How
with the
did
same haircut to fights, and dude, looks like father and son.
There
Savage
you go.
animals.
There you go.
They really do.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
So, how did that come about?
Okay, so back to La Habra Boxing Club, right? Because, La Habra, La Mirada, which is where I stay, Woody area, there's a lot of talent that's coming out of that area.
Aaron Pico,
If you
Henry
right?
Corrales.
Right? Those
Yeah.
are some names
Top
that you can say
dogs.
right off the bat. I mean, I don't know if it's something in the water over there, but there's there's a lot of
Something in
talent.
the hose water.
Something,
Everybody drinks from the
right?
hose.
Something's going on. But so I'm at the La Habra Boxing Club, and speaking of Aaron Pico, he's training there at the time.
Aaron Lafarge.
Aaron Lafarge was coming in. Jacob Rosales would come in
Jacob
sometimes.
Rosales.
So, I'm in there training my kids and working with a couple other guys, and I would see this little scrappy kid come in. He didn't have much technique, but he had heart. He had heart, and that boy would go in there and he would fight, and it was Jacob, right?
Wow.
He was working at the time with a guy by the name of, they call him Baby Joe Ruales. Baby Joe Ruales, local hero in the area. He fought Freddie Roach. He was not a bad boxer, but he's from that era of get in there,
bite down on your guard.
bite down, give one to take one.
Yeah.
And he was good at it. Unfortunately, when you fight like that, you feel the effects of it later in your life. And he was getting to that point where it was getting a little difficult for him to do it, because of the effects of
It's
of
tough
his
what they
career.
didn't know then.
You know what I mean? So, he wasn't coming in as often and, whatnot. And then one day, Jacob's like, hey, will you hold pads for me? And I was like, sure. And, I had befriended his dad in there. His
Sure.
dad, shout out Julian Rosales, a big supporter of mine.
He
He's
is,
always
yeah.
had me. I befriended him. And then one day he was like, hey, will you help my boy? And I says, you know what, bro? I mean, I don't do MMA. But I'll teach him some shit that I think will help him, And, at the time, he had just turned pro. He had one win and 2 losses. And they were close losses. When I went back and watched the tape, because that was my first order of business, right? I watched the tape, and I was like, this kid, he was scrappy, but he was all offense, bro. All offense.
Where was
you know
that
what
first
I mean?
fight? Where was Jacob's first fight?
Honestly, I couldn't tell
Were you
'cause
not
I
a part
wasn't
of
with
it?
him. I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I wasn't. I didn't come along until like I said, he was 2-1. So after his third fight.
Because I
Third
saw
fight
him.
on forward, you know what I mean? I think he started at the Fight Club OC though.
Right,
if I'm
absolutely,
correct,
right,
you know
you're
what I
right.
mean? So, we started to do some things, and mainly I just wanted him to settle down a little bit because he was just so. Before he even got in the cage, I'm like, bro, you're wasting energy. Relax a little bit. Let's do this, and let's work on like we said, footwork,
Sure,
little bit of defense, certain things, and it started to work.
Yeah.
And so, it started to work, and and next thing you know, he wins one, wins another one, he's winning another one, and okay, we're doing good. So then, Aaron Lafarge had
Yeah.
I think one amateur fight already, and then he approached me like, hey, will you help me?
Such a cool dude too.
So I said, sure. Like I said,
he still gives you praise. Aaron Lafarge is a homie of mine. It still praises
I love
the
that
work
kid.
he
I
does
call
with you.
him my nephew. Especially because
he's like family, right?
Yeah, and in the Native American way, when you take someone under your wing
Yeah.
as guidance, you call them your nephew, and they call you uncle.
Nice.
So and like for me personally, I won't train anybody that I can't consider family.
Wow.
That's just plain and simple.
Yeah.
Like, people say, "Hey, coach, will you train me? Will you train me?" I said, "Well, you know what? Come down. Let's work together. Once or twice. Let's get it. I want to get a feel for you. You get a feel for me. You decide if you like me, and I can decide if I like you. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest with you, because if there's no chemistry, what's the point?
That's
right?
a fact.
Right. So anyway, so Lafarge comes in, and next thing you know, he's on a winning streak, and he's doing his thing. He has always been talented. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take any credit for that, but I was proud to be a part of it and to help him with that. And then when he turned pro, I was there with him in his corners. And then Mark Matsumoto. Matsumoto comes in and approaches me, and I start helping him.
Another great name.
So I started, getting involved with these MMA guys because of that. All because it started with Jacob, right?
Sure.
And so, a little time had passed. I had a falling out with the guy at the La Habra Boxing Club, Mr. Martinez, my mentor. And, I left for a bit. And I was in my garage, training out of my garage. And at the time, I had a pro boxer by the name of George Acosta out of Whittier. And I was working with him. And, when I left La Habra Boxing Club, I really thought it was over. I was like, okay, here it is. I'm going back. I was making progress because honestly, I didn't do a lot of amateur boxing. Sure. Like I came in, I started training some amateurs. They started having success, and right away, pros started approaching me.
Sure.
And so I kind of jumped into that. And once you go in the pro game, it's kind of you really don't want to. I mean, I don't say you don't want to go back to the amateur thing, but amateur boxing is just so much politics, and sometimes if you win, you get raw. It's just whatever.
Right.
And then
it's
like,
a business.
Like we talked about dealing with kids and whatever. So. That was kind of whatever. So, like I said, I thought it was over. I'm like, fuck, okay, maybe I'm done with boxing. I'll just stay home and work with my son here and there. And
It's
he
a
wasn't
tough
really
business.
feeling it at the time. Even my younger one wasn't feeling it at the time. But I was really overwhelmed when the fighters that I had decided, Coach, we're going with you. Even if it's to your garage, we're going with you.
Wow.
And so, I took Jacob, I took, Lafarge and everyone else that I had, and they came with me in my garage and won 10 professional fights out of my garage.
Wow.
Between all of them. And
It's impressive.
That's the beautiful thing about fighting sports is it can be taught anywhere.
Yeah.
We can move this desk out the way and we can get to work, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, really,
Absolutely.
So, at that point, whatever, Jacob's telling me, hey, I've been talking to Ben. He's been talking about maybe bringing you into the gym, and we'll give you a little spot to work. We have a ring. You can bring anybody you want. You can train them there. Don't have to worry about it. Basically get you out of the garage. And I was kind of like, at the time I was kind of, if it pans out, whatever. If not, I'm kind of happy in the garage, to be honest with you, right?
No
so
worries.
then Ben calls me and he's like, hey. I know Paulson just made me the head coach of the fight team. And I want to know, will you come and be our boxing coach?
Hell yeah.
Fuck it, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't doing anything else, right? You know what? So, sure, when do you want me to come in?
Pretty big deal, dude,
Right?
to work with Ben Jones.
Well,
At that level.
and if those of you that don't know Ben Jones a big guy. And he's a ex-football player. You know what I mean? And he has that whole persona. Like, even in his coaching, he coaches from, like, a football head coach kind of standpoint because that's what he knows. You know what I mean? And so when we win, he's gonna own it, and when we lose, he's gonna own it. He's and he's kind of high strung. I mean, right? You can mistake it for being high strung, but that's just his passion, bro.
Yeah, he's one of
that's just his passion. You know what I mean? I mean, at first I was kind of intimidated, like, oh, this big fucking guy, and he's kind of
big dude.
What's gonna happen, right? And he's super down to earth. He's super open minded. And
hilarious too.
He really is.
Yeah,
and
man.
I think at the end of the day, we kind of balance each other well because I'm super laid back and he's kind of more aggressive,
Intense,
more intense. Good word
Absolutely.
there, more intense. So it balances out. So and even for the team, if the fighters, hey, we don't feel like we can talk to Ben about this. Hey, can we talk to you, or vice versa? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's what a team is really supposed to be, right? To if I can't do something, Yeah, balance. If I can't do something for you, or you have a problem approaching me, you should be able to approach somebody else on the team, and we can work this out, or we can figure this out, or we can fix whatever the problem is.
Get things done.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
make progress. It's not about me. You know what I mean? And it's not about you. It's about us. You know what I'm saying? And
That's what Robert says to me all the time. I'm still learning that one.
Right? That's the only way it works. So, anyways, like I said, I go into CSW and I'm nervous as fuck. I'm nervous as fuck, and I'm just kind of like, what if these MMA guys are like, fuck this boxing coach? This is MMA. Fuck him. What does he know, right? But to my surprise, they were super receptive, and I'm sitting there, and I'm teaching the boxing, and I got Eric Paulson walks in. Eric Paulson, he's quiet, and he's kind of like the spiritual warrior kind of guy, right?
He's the boss.
But he's the boss, and you can tell he's the boss, and everybody holds him in high revere.
Absolutely.
So
Old school.
he comes in, and he's watching me do my thing, and I'm just like, fuck. You know what? Fuck it. I mean, and to be honest with you, I just knew he was in charge of the gym. I didn't know who Eric Paulson was, bro.
Really?
I didn't know what CSW was. Nothing. It wasn't until like a few weeks or months into the job, people were like, dude, you're the boxing coach for the CSW fight team? And I was like, yeah, why? Bro, don't you know CSW? Don't you know Eric Paulson? And I'm like, no, what's up?
Yeah.
And so I looked like, oh, shit,
out?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I mean, it kind of, because like I said, starting as a dad, getting into this, and then ending, and like I said, I didn't intend for it to happen, ending up kind of where I ended up, and then guys like Eric Paulson or even Ben Jones showing me the kind of love and respect made me feel like, fuck, I must be doing something right. I must be doing something right. You know what I mean? And there was times where I would call Jacob's dad because, he's a good friend of mine. And I would always, communicate. And I'd be like, yo, man, I don't know if Ben likes me, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, Dale, let me tell you something. If Ben don't like you, you would know.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be there. I'm going to tell you right now, if Ben don't like you, he don't pull no punches. You will not be there. You know what I mean? And so I just kind of said, okay, you know what? I guess I'm doing all right. So I get in there, we just start doing our thing, and we went on a sick winning streak. I mean, I think we went like 20-4 or some shit like that. Wow. And almost all of them were first round knockouts or something like that.
Yeah.
And like for me, it isn't about the knockout.
Right.
If it comes, great. If you can get it done on the ground, great. You know what I mean? My main concern is that you don't get taken out on your feet.
Right.
You don't get taken out on your feet. You know what I mean? For me, whatever. Get
fight a good fight. Don't get dropped.
Yeah, but my job as the boxing coach, I don't see it as trying to fucking make sure you knock everybody out. I see it as trying to make sure you don't get knocked the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Because there's a lot of MMA fighters that say, "Oh, I took boxing and it didn't really help." But who did you go to? What did he teach you? Not everything is gonna work.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Or actually, you know what? I'm kind of lying because everything does work in its right place, but it takes time to learn that.
To figure.
Some guy tries to throw you in and teach you this without teaching you A, B, and C.
And the
it's not. That's what's gonna be the problem. So and through being at CSW, I got a lot of the guys. Then they started wanting to take lessons with me and private lessons and so on and so forth. And it's been a really really amazing experience at the very least. You know what I mean? I get messages from people from like London, Australia. I had a guy come up from Argentina to work with me. That people are saying, hey bro. Like I had one guy I'd post some video or something. He's like, bro, I feel like I've seen that gym before somewhere. You know what I mean? And maybe in one of my videos, I think I seen that. Is that Eric Paulson CSW? And I was like, yeah. They're like, dude, I didn't know you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Like that's I guess how big of a deal it kind of is. And like I said, I was oblivious to it, bro. Just straight up. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's a crazy story.
At the end of the day, it was probably a good thing because I was already.
That's amazing.
Bro, look, I grew up in a way. Like I said, I grew up without my father. That alone affects a kid, right? But then my dad wasn't the most stand-up guy, and he did a lot of things, and my family held it against him, my mom's side of the family. So I was told from a young age, you ain't gonna be shit. When you grow up, you ain't gonna be shit. You're gonna be just like your dad. You know what I mean? And so I really had trouble believing in things that I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so thank God I didn't know about the CSW because I probably would have psyched myself out even more,
Self-sabotage.
Right, yeah,
People
exactly,
do that.
right, exactly.
It's good that you know that.
And I did that for a long part
Happens
of my
a
life,
lot.
And so, growing up it really took a lot for me to get everything together, and this
amazing
fighting
story.
thing has really done it for me. And I tell the guys, thank me. I'll say, hey, coach, thank you so much. You helped me. I'm like, no, bro, you don't get it. You guys are helping me just as much, if not
Very
more,
humble.
than I'm helping you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's kind of therapeutic. All the things that were wrong with me, I get to fix in other people, and it helps fix me.
That's
You know what I mean?
tremendous.
That might be what keeps everybody in the fight game, because those are true words for almost everybody that I meet. Very seldom do I get someone that's happy-go-lucky, they're a trust fund kid, and they're ready to go knock people's heads
Bro,
off.
who the fuck wants
They're
to get
just not
punched in
those-
the face?
Right.
It's usually
Blake
people,
Stroupe.
this guy, right? No, but it's usually people who have been through some shit. They've either been bullied, they've been beat, they've been
Right.
picked on, they've been disenfranchised.
Yes.
Something has happened to them where they want to be empowered, they want to feel stronger and confident about themselves. So they turn to the fighting sports because at our primal level, if you can fight, shit, there's probably no better feeling in the world than being able to walk the streets knowing that no matter what the fuck happens, you can take care of yourself.
You're going to be hunted, or
right.
you're going to be a hunter.
And no matter, and I told my son that one time, like, hey, because he would give me trouble. Oh, you pushed me too hard for boxing. Like, you know what? Well, I'm sorry that I believed in you, right? But you could thank me for teaching how to fight. You don't have to worry about no matter where you go. He said, you know what, Dad? There's no better feeling in the world than knowing that I can go anywhere and I'm all right. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
That's
And
awesome.
I mean, one big purveyor of exactly what you just said is a gentleman who I am actually going to slide off for, but he stepped in right in the middle of our podcast. So let's get him some
Are we
time.
bringing in Blake?
Is one Blake Bulletproof Troop. If you don't know, you should know. So I'm going to
Okay.
slide out.
Have you
and
not
let
met
my
Blake?
man.
We're bringing on
talk
Blake
some
Stroupe.
fights.
He's got stuff coming up. Look at that, coach. He even brought his
Whoa.
grenade. He's throwing hand grenades and hell
Bombs
bows.
on motherfuckers. What up, with the truth?
How you doing? Nice to meet you, sir.
Right? Welcome back, Troop. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
What's going on with you?
Fuck, just chilling. I signed a fight, finally.
What?
It's been a year since I fought. And I've had fucking fights pulling out, injuries happening. And so I signed a fight. I'll be fighting on TV in September. But that's all you guys are going to get for now. So
Whoa!
I'm going to tease it a little bit more. I'm going to give y'all some more
Yo.
details later. But television in September in Los Angeles.
It has been a year since I seen Blake fight last, so this is going to be an amazing
Over a
thing.
year.
And he tackled the car with Adam Woods. He's recovered. People have dropped off on fights that he was ready to go at the last minute.
Yeah, if you count the car crash, I'm coming off a loss. That thing fucked me up, bro. Fuck.
What's amazing is you're back in record time, and this is not the first time you've tried to step up and fight. You're ready to go. You were always ready to go, and that car crash almost was just minimal at this point. I know you took some
there's some
damage.
serious damage, but I'm back on the horse and fucking making shit happen. It's a contact sport, so our bodies going through a lot of shit already with the competing and training and all that. So, you just fucking make shit happen, man.
I love that. I've talked to you 1,000 times. We hang out, and I don't even know, where did you get your fighting beginning, your start? How does that happen to a 6'7" animal?
So I mean, here's how I got into fighting. Was when I was a freshman in high school. I was working for my dad after school, and we had a guy who worked for my dad, who's like a family friend for a long time. And he was overweight, and he's like, "Dude, I'm gonna do some cardio kickboxing. You down to go do it with me?" And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, like let's go do it." And it was like at a legit place actually, and fucking dude, it was fun, and like I excelled at it naturally.
Of course.
And like I liked fighting video games and shit, and so I just kept going, and I was good at it, and like it sparred there and shit. Like whereas like a legit place wasn't like a cardio, it wasn't like a I love kickboxing conditioning, And
There's
so,
that 1 in a million right there. Blake Stroupe.
Yeah, and so I ended up
And-
fucking liking it and excelling at it, and I'm a fucking loud person, and I feel strongly about the way that I feel about things.
I
and
can't
so I've
get a
gotten
word in.
myself into a couple of fist fights. 1 or 2 or probably a lot. Found out I was really good at fighting, and then fucking was like, shit, I kind of wanted to pursue it professionally as a dream. I grew up wanting to do professional wrestling, and then,
Man, yeah, both of these things are happening. So,
yeah.
the things he dreamed of as a young man and now a professional fighter and wrestler.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll be making my debut sooner or later. I'm not in a crazy hurry for it. I got a fight coming up. That's the main thing on my plate. But
That's cool.
hopefully by the end of the year, I got a wrestler named Greek God Papa Don. Papa Don, I'm coming for
that's
your ass.
right.
Hand grenades and elbows, baby. I'm gonna be dropping
Elbows.
bombs all over you.
Elbows. I love that.
Elbows, baby.
Yeah, I'm gonna trademark that right now.
He's already trademarked it.
Fuck you.
I'm gonna call my lawyers right now.
That's trouble.
T-shirts everywhere.
I'm making T-shirts right now. Send.
That is trouble. That's pretty sick. No, that's really cool. Entering in the game as a kickboxer, what did you fall in love with first? Your hands? Did you go to the ground? Was it just the kickboxing?
So I didn't start. I mean, that was my first introduction, and then I stuck around and did like a combat grappling class, which was basically like a no-gi class with kind of like striking sort of. And this is in like 2001, and so I would have got more into grappling, dude. I started training jiu-jitsu more. I've only put the gi on like 30 times in my life, and I fucking hate the gi. But so no, I'm totally a submission grappler. Is definitely by far my strong point. It wasn't until about 2.5 years ago that I fought Moses Murrieta, and how bad my hands were really exposed to me, and I took it as a learning thing, and I picked up. I've really burned on working on that. Now I'm training a lot with Joe Hanks and Rage over at The Rock, putting in work.
That's right.
Just been burning on my hands, so now my hands and all my striking is very sharp. I understand how the game's played. Before I used to be a puncher and a kicker. I knew how to throw punches and kicks and combinations, but I didn't know the whole setting up, ranges, angling, and all the strategy that goes into playing the game now. It's just like, you might know how the pieces move on a chessboard,
right?
But do you know how to put everything together to set up an attack where I'm going to go in and cause damage or whatever it is, which is what I've learned a lot of. I knew how to jab already. Like, I knew how to punch and kick. I didn't know,
No, it's intelligent violence, right?
Exactly.
Intelligent violence.
Intelligent violence. Somebody trademarked that
that
from
too.
That's a good one.
Right
We're
now.
gonna make this guy rich by the end of the day.
That's a legit one.
Intelligent violence,
Right?
which is really the name of the game. Everybody seems to think that because you step into the ring, and they just think you're going in there and it's the toughest guy with the biggest ball that's gonna win. No, it's the smarter guy that's gonna
100%.
fucking win.
Not that it doesn't take some balls.
Oh,
That's not a big part of it.
Yeah, just to do it. Yeah.
But when you got two bad dudes, it comes down to who's going to be the more tactical fighter. I mean, sometimes you'll see overwhelming, but for the most part, you're going to see It's all strategy. It's a strategy game of getting They say get hit and not get hit. Well, I want to get an advantageous angle, the best advantageous angle I can, and give you the least advantageous angle, which turns into me landing the best shot I can and you not landing or landing shitty shots on me. Like, I'll get to certain spots, bro. You hit me whatever you want right here, and I get to hit you. Fuck, I'm with that trade.
What did Sugar Ray Robinson say? If they ask him what boxing is, they says it's punching from range without getting hit while putting yourself in a position to hit with maximum leverage.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, it's
Stick and move.
So
That's knowledge right there, and there's so much coming from that. I mean, that's what it's all about.
What's crazy because there's levels to it. You can hear stuff like that, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and it sounds good and cliche, and you get it. And then when you start getting into the movement, and then when sitting down in your punches, we're like, okay, I see. I ain't gonna be sitting all heavy. I'm gonna be floating around, fucking setting when I want to. It has layers of man. Now you're like, damn, that's saying that I thought I kind of knew what it meant.
Yeah,
it's layers to that shit.
Right.
Absolutely.
Even the setup for a takedown, even is such a beautiful thing. Setting up with punches, you're sitting back, and then you got him. So I love that. I love to watch Blake fight. So when he announces that, make sure you DM us, DM Blake, because we're going to be selling tickets, making sure he gets that place full, because
I'll give you guys another hint about the fight. I'm fighting for some jewelry, too.
Whoa.
I'm fighting for some jewelry, too.
That's
That's the only other hint you guys are getting for today.
Whoa.
Maybe sometime this
right.
coming week.
Something tells me he's only going to wear that jewelry and nothing else if things go his way.
This jewelry's always I wear 2 pieces of jewelry. I'm like a pirate, baby. I'm out here collecting treasure. Come on, I hunt for all the gold, baby. Give it to me.
Out of control. I love it. Is this the first time you guys met?
Yeah, my name, Blake Stroupe.
Blake Stroupe, Dale Roybal, boxing coach.
Yeah.
It's awesome. No, I'm glad to make that introduction. Blake is a friend of the show. Dale is obviously a friend of the show. Just awesome to have this kind of talent here with us at Gym Crashers. If you don't know already, we're live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And thank you, of course, always to All 7 Massage Matters, Our Life. He's in-house right now, Sean Lerma. Cauliflower Nation, Chris Crail, and Word of Mouth Manufacturing. MMA Events, Inc. coming up. When is that coming up? September 27th?
Yeah, date tentative.
Tentative date. Date tentative. Okay, we got another fight coming up in a month and a half or so.
Follow social medias.
Yeah, follow their social media, because you know what?
Fighters Reps also on September 21st.
Yeah, Fighters Rep.
Glory Rules Kickboxing, Unified Rules Kickboxing. here in Seal Beach, I believe.
It's cool. That's absolutely right. And is it just kickboxing?
That may be a teaser. That might be my fight. You guys don't know.
Whoa.
This
May
guy.
or may not be. I'm not sure.
Let me tell you something about Stroupe. He entered a karate tournament just because he went and visually watched it and said, okay, I'll jump in.
Bro, so I get a call. So MMA Events Inc. does not just MMA events. They also do karate events, grappling events, and stuff. And so Ron calls me one day. And he's like, hey, if you want to come by and hang out at the tournament, we're here. And I was like, the tournament? He's like, yeah, we're doing a karate tournament. I didn't tell you about it? And I was like, nah. And I was like, kid, white belt Stroupe, come compete?
Could you imagine being at white belt level against Stroupe?
So he's like, sure. So I'm like, cool. So I throw my jiu-jitsu gi in, which is totally different than a karate gi.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize till you get there, and everybody's like looking, like, what the fuck did you get that?
And they're all light. They're all like feather light, right?
Yeah.
Our gis are like thick, like
And
blankets.
I'm a purple belt jiu-jitsu, so I just left my belt at home, so I had no belt either. I just got a jiu-jitsu gi, and I'm like warming up, like, like boxing, and so
I can see the karate guy's face, like, Jesus, who walked in?
Ron's like, yeah, of course, yeah, like, and so I show up with my gi, and he's like, and so I like walk up, and he's like, oh, you really brought your gi? I was like, bro, I'm really competing. I go check in, and she's like, well, what division do you want to compete in? And I was like, I mean, well, technically I'm a white belt, but I'd be kind of fucked up to put me in the white belt. So they put me,
I wish I was there.
A black belt. I was like, I mean, yeah, like black belt division, you know.
Make it black belt with stripes.
Yeah, so it's 30. It's 30 and older or below. And so I'm like, well, I'm 31, but I'd rather go like in jiu-jitsu. In jiu-jitsu, it's better to go like typically the adult division is a tougher division. But she's like, nah, all the guys in the higher up bracket are like fucking. There's like one guy who's a national champion. I was like, all right, well, fucking put me in that bracket then. I mean, I'm here to challenge myself.
It's insane, right? Only Stroupe.
So, so I go into there and I'm thinking like, I'm gonna be boxing these fools up. They're gonna be trying to do, and I'm watching, and it's like it's point scoring, so they just have to touch you. It doesn't have to be hard or anything. So I'm watching, and they're just doing like these little jumping side kicks and stuff, and I'm like, nah, this fool's gonna try that. I'm gonna fucking sidestep, D'Amato shift, light these fools up. Nah, these motherfuckers.
I gotta see the video.
These motherfuckers is quick. That shit didn't happen. I'm like in there, boom, and they're just like, it's not hard. They just fucking touch you. And so
it's
it
point
It's like playing tag.
Yeah, basically playing tag.
Yeah.
And so,
So like flag football
I
to
thought
a
I
pro
was gonna be too
football
quick,
player.
and I was just gonna be able to out-angle these fools. But when they're just trying to like touch you in the stomach, like you can do all the head movement you want. If they're just trying to like, whoop. So first match I get fucking schooled, and so next match I'm competing for third place against this dude, and now I kind of know how to. Now I see how it plays, and so I go against this guy, and they immediately put me against the next guy. They didn't want me to win. They were like trying to. The judges, I believe they weren't trying to let me win.
Oh no.
Could you imagine when he connects? And they're
boy,
playing
did I
tag.
connect. Let me get to that part.
I hope they had a mouthpiece.
So yeah, so now I'm watching. So I go against this guy, and halfway through the match, I'm like, okay, this shit ain't working. I'm not gonna. They're just too long and quick, and the dexterity in their foot, I wasn't able to. I thought it was gonna be easy just to cut the angle on the guy, but nah, that shit wasn't happening. So I start playing their game and like playing this little sidekick game, and I'm big and long. I'm probably longer than all these guys. So I mean, I score a few points in the first one, and then the second one now. So we come out, and I'm going against this guy, and like, dude, he scores a few, and like, I feel like I should have scored a few times, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I start getting mad at the refs. And I'm just like, and so this fool comes charging in, I'm just like, whong, 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 like I'm fucking throwing bombs now. I'm kind of, because I'm mad at the fucking refs for not giving me points.
So the guy took the abuse.
So, and this dude's probably like 36, 37.
Oh shit!
You know, but so here's,
So he went home with a concussion.
So,
He's like, well.
But so he
Possibly.
he like runs at me like 3 times and just touches at me, and they keep giving him points for it. And I'm fucking getting kind of pissed. So I'm like, I motherfucker, like fucking doesn't even like touch my face, like just reaches over, and I'm like, dude, and they give him points, and so he comes charging at me to do it again, and I try and do this jumping switch kick, and because he keeps charging and jumping like this, so I'm trying to fucking, but bro, he charges in and the kick misses and the knee like hits him in the chest and fucking drops this motherfucker. He's on the ground for a minute.
Jesus.
And I'm like, huh? And they're like, you can't knee. And I was like, I wasn't trying to knee him. I was trying to kick him. He ran into my kick. And so I'm assuming I'm getting points on this. Give this motherfucker points. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to fuck this fool up.
Oh, shit. He's going out.
Crazy.
So I'm like a little irritated now. I'm like, "All right, motherfucker," like, and I'm like, "Fucking, well, I'm gonna take it out on you, bitch. I ain't gonna get mad at the referees. Like, I'm just gonna fuck you up. Like, that's how this. You're the one who's gonna pay the price
At a karate tournament.
So I like cut out on this angle, and I throw this big head kick. He's got headgear on, but it's got like a plastic rim around the eyes. Like, it's a pretty solid piece of headgear, and I'm fucking. Okay, so here's the other thing. I didn't have gloves, shin pads, none of that shit. I didn't know what the fuck to bring. I figured there was gonna be shit there for me, or a mouthpiece.
And he's wearing a grenade.
I brought the grenade.
Will the white belt please remove the grenade?
Right?
Don't go into Walmart with that. Jesus.
Yeah. So the only shit that I can find the gear is one of the guys from Rock LA's Dustin's like kids. So I got like kids shoes on that like my toes are like sticking out the end. I got kids gloves that are like fucking tiny little.
Oh my
like,
God.
My hand like barely fits in them, and like kid headgear that's like. I got all kid shit on a fucking jujitsu gi.
It's like a Jim Carrey movie.
And so I'm like, all right, this motherfucker. Y'all motherfucker, okay. Well, if I knock this motherfucker out, it don't matter who gets the points. I motherfucking win. You know, so I'm like, all right, this house can. So I like step out and I fucking throw this big head kick. And so he's got, like I said, like a plastic rim around his, bro, so I catch this full in the fucking head, wobbles his full back. And I don't realize it at the time, but it fucking sliced, like it cut this big on my fucking toe.
no.
That's sticking out the end of the fucking shin pads. Or like it's not even a shin pad, it's like a foot pad. And so I'm like bleeding everywhere. I didn't realize until after the match. But dude, and I'll show you guys the video. And so you see one of the crowds just, it's like, and everyone's like, oh yeah.
Finally, somebody got connection, right?
And so I ended up just fucking, so I ended up scoring a bunch of times, and then I ended up coming down, then I scoring, the ref's like, ow. And so the way they had the scoring is there's three judges standing around watching, and then the referee in the middle. So there's 4 people. 3 of them need to agree to the point, because I was asking them after, like, what the fuck? How am I not? And like I see in the video, like a judge holding points for me, and like I don't get points. I'm like, what the fuck? But so yeah, so the referee's like, yeah, I like it. He likes it. And you see this other fool's just like, that motherfucker was not supposed to win today.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, we're up on the clock. Where can people find you, Blake?
At Bulletproof Troop on Instagram, at BigTroop22, BulletproofTroop.com. Come pick up some merch. Like I said,
Fight news
sometime soon.
Fight news coming at you. We'll make sure you're informed, but follow Troop.
What about you, Coach? Where we find you on social
Coach
media?
Dale Roybal.
At Coach Roybal on Instagram, Dale Roybal Jr. on Facebook, and Coach Roybal on Twitter, which I don't really use.
Awesome. And Dondo on Grindr. Where can they find you on Grindr?
Right? And that other one, not Tinder, it's Tandor if you're looking for Indians. But 12,000 Firestone Boulevard, Norwalk. You can find me and Dale daily. Check us out. And Jim Crashers has the crash course this weekend. Hit us up. It's August 24th, this Saturday. Yoga, jiu-jitsu, and women's self-defense. So come through. Our Life CBD will be there. Joey will be our announcer.
Yeah.
Adam Woods might even make an appearance if there's donuts.
That's right, folks. Well, this is the end of the show. This is Joey the Bull. You'll catch me this Saturday, too, at 3 PW. Can't miss it, up in Anaheim as your ring announcer. Got a gig. Got to get another gig for another wrestling show. All right, folks, see you next week. This is Jim Crashers. Peace out.
Boom.